Part 3, during your search. The first thing you want to do when you get to your assigned search segment, if not before, is make sure that you can see your search segment boundary on the GPS. To do that, go to the tracks page, so you hit page until you see the list of tracks. Go down to your assigned search segment. Let's say they assigned you segment A. Hit enter. Go down to show on map. Now, every track will have an option here to let you show or hide it on the map. If it says show on map, that means it's currently not showing on the map, and if you hit enter here, it will show it on the map. So hit enter. If it says hide on the map, it means it currently is showing on the map, and if you hit enter here, it will hide it on the map. So now that it's showing, quit out of this track. If you want to set that same setting on other tracks to see more than one track at the same time on the map, you can do that. Go back to the map page and make sure that you can see the shape for your search segment. Next thing you're going to want to do is make sure you turn your tracks on at the start of every search. So there are two places to do that, and if you remembered to clear your track logs before you got to IC, then the first place you can do that is from the tracks page again. Hit page until you get there. Enter on current track. And it'll say there is no current track. Would you like to turn tracking on? Now you can move up to yes and hit enter. That will turn the tracking on, but it will not show the track on the map. So the second place to change tracking from off to on is under main menu. So you hit enter. Hit the menu twice from anywhere. Enter on setup. Enter on tracks. And you can see it just turned it to record do not show. Hit enter on that top entry if you want to change that. You can change it to record show on map. That's probably most useful for all of our searches. Hit enter on that setting. And now it's recording and showing it on the map. Now let's say during your search you want to mark a waypoint on a clue or on anything else you think is useful. So from the map page, just like we did for the IC marker, hit mark. Move up or wrap around from the bottom to the name field and hit enter. And go ahead and take a minute to change this name to something useful right here. This keyboard is not the quickest thing in the world, but it's important to change it right here and right now, because if you try and write it down on a piece of paper, chances are that note will get lost and will not get transferred to IC as it should be. So make sure you take a minute to slow down and set the name to whatever you want it to be. When your name is good, go back to done and hit enter. There, you've made your waypoint. Now, when your search is complete, you need to make sure to turn your tracks off. We do that in the same place as we turned the tracks on and made them show before. So that's main menu, so hit menu twice from anywhere. Enter on setup. Enter on tracks. Enter on that first option and change it to do not record. And hit enter. That's the way to turn your tracks off. And the last step is you need to make sure that you save your track with the correct name. So to do that, we hit page until we get to the tracks page. Hit enter on current track and enter on save track. Now you're going to take a minute to type in the correct name of it here. Clear out all of that. Let's say this is operational period 1. Let's say we were team search segment A, team 3, and let's say we were a K9 team. When your name's good, you move to done and hit enter, and it saves it. And it asks you at the same time, do you want to clear the current track log? You should pretty much always say yes here. But be aware that if you clear the current track log, you might not be able to get the exact time that you were at any given point on your track. It's typically not important for IC. So we're going to say yes, so that we're ready to go for another assignment if we need to. That's it for your search segment. Time to go back to IC. Part 4, at IC after the search. This is the easiest part if you remember to do everything correctly so far. When you get back to IC, you're going to be giving your GPS to someone with a computer. They're going to go ahead and plug it in so that they can download your track information, so they can see where you went and put it on the debrief map. Remember, as soon as they plug it in, you're not going to be able to use it anymore. It'll be unresponsive for a few minutes. So they're going to go ahead and work the computer and grab the track information and put it on a map, print it out and give it to you. And if you did save your tracks correctly, they're going to see nothing but the one named track that you saved. It's going to have the operational period, search segment, team number, and team type. If you did not save it correctly, it's going to be a long, painful series of questions for you and for them, and it'll slow down the whole process. So we really ask that you give us all the help you can and name your tracks correctly. We may be grabbing more than one track per team to put on a map. If so, the people operating the computers can rename them to be unique on the computer, and you don't need to worry about that on your GPS. After they've grabbed your track, you're going to unplug it again, and remember that on a Garmin 62, after you unplug it, it turns off. Okay, that's the end of the search.